Hi students, this is Mrs. Mignell with a Friday all call, a little late on Saturday. I did get a chance to take a look at a couple of submissions of the Essay 1 updrafts. A number of students are having problems understanding what they're supposed to be writing about. I do have two students who are successfully writing on the topic that I gave them. So I'm going to be addressing the students who I didn't give the yes, you've got it, a response in the assignment comments. So just a real quick review here with what is due this week. The typical Friday discussion board that was due last night, I have relaxed the due date. It's not due until the 28th. I am asking you to do your original post and to comment on two other people. It was for you to read Paul Roberts' How to Say Nothing in 500 Words. A number of students are having problems accessing the essay. It is a PDF that you can find online. If you just search Paul Roberts and the title of the article, it's a book chapter that he wrote, you'll be able to find it. What I really want you to do is I want you to state what you think his point is, which is the thesis. I want you to state why you think he has that point, and I want you to state how he supports it, which would be the evidence. I'd like you to state as a college student, how effective you think he is in communicating his point using the evidence that he was aimed at college students in the late 1950s. You are college students in 2019. What do you think? How effective is his chapter on how to write nothing in 500 words? The other assignments that were due was a sentence and paragraph assignment. I'm hoping that that was a lot more simple, and I'm hoping that you cranked it and got it out of the way. The more difficult assignment was the study reading strategy, which I gave you on the same text. The first one was annotation, and I did give you videos on how to annotate and ideas. Annotation is very personal, but you do need to make margin notes for me to know that you just didn't go through and write a bunch of underlines and highlights. So you do need to make sense of all the marks you make on the text in order for me to give you credit. The difficulty paper was because this is a difficult text to read. I do expect your instincts to be to stop reading it, and I want you to recognize when you say, I want to stop this, I want you to be able to say, why do you want to stop it? And then, of course, I want you to push through. The difficulty paper is a traditional 5-paragraph or classical argument. You introduce what you're reading, you tell me the difficulties you have. I expect you have 3. If you have 2, that's okay. And then you tell me what they are. You tell me you evidence having them where you had them in the text. And then you tell me how you got through it. That is that difficulty paper. I'm not looking for surface errors. I'm looking for, can you recognize the difficulties that prevent you from reading? And how do you get through those difficulties? The big reason for today's all call is the problems everybody's having on this updraft for Essay 1. So I've looked at a couple of the students' drafts, and they're not according to the assignments. So I am again reiterating to please read the Essay 1 Rhetorical Analysis Revised Instructions, which was linked to the downdraft as well as the updraft instructions. And then please read 1 or 2 of the sample essays that I gave you. One student pointed out that I'm giving you too many options and I'm giving you too many examples. So next time I won't give you as many options and examples. I'll limit them. But now you have 6 example essays. Pick 2 of them and read them. The Allstate Mayhem commercial analysis are really fun to read. We will give you an idea of how to do a rhetorical analysis essay. So when an instructor gives you an essay example at the start of the essay, please read 1 or 2 of the examples so you have an idea of what's being expected. Okay, so then I'm going to the short instructions, which you can find in the essay instruction, the Essay 1 Rhetorical Analysis Revised Instructions. It says choose a text about college, and this is where one student said this is just too overwhelmingly general, and I will limit it then. Analyze the rhetorical situations, which is what I did in the video on Legally Blonde. And then explain how and why the author manipulates her reader, and I'm going to do this here. Writing an interesting and engaging analysis is going to be something that I'm going to reserve for this coming week, when after you've done your peer review, which is now due on Friday, so the following week. when I'm asking you to do a revision. I'll talk about that then. So the first thing about choosing a text. So here are your options. Choose one of the essays that we've already read. Petrash, Kaplan, Carr, or Roberts. Choose one of them and analyze them rhetorically. You can also choose a movie. I have a student who's analyzing already the movie Accepted, so that's a choice. I have done Legally Blonde, another student's doing Legally Blonde, but you just cannot analyze the scene I did on the Socratic scene, that Socratic scene that I did in the video. You may not do that because I've already done it. You may look at Animal House or Monsters University. So those are there. Limit your options. Then if some of you now get it and you understand what you have, if you have another article that you would like to analyze or another movie that's about college that you would like to analyze, then send me a Canvas conversation and I will confirm your choice. The second part of the short instructions said to analyze the text according to the rhetorical situation and the appeals. So you do need to know what those mean. So the rhetorical situation is who is the author, what is the text, who is the intended audience, and what is the situation. The rhetorical appeals are those three Greek words, ethos, logos, and pathos, which correspond to the meanings of credibility, logic, and emotions. And I do walk you through that analysis in the rhetorical analysis on Legally Blonde. So please watch that video. And then take a look at those student examples because they really do a good job of analyzing the rhetorical appeals in commercials or in a text. Okay, the third one is now to explain how and why the author manipulates her reader. And this is a whole lot more difficult. I know this is higher order thinking skills when you have to analyze to discuss how and why. So, for example, in the scene that I analyzed in the video, Dr. Stromwell ousted Elle Woods from her first college classroom. So how is that credible? How is that logical? How is that emotional? And it may not be all three. Whatever you're analyzing, it might only be one of those. But this particular scene, it was all three. How was it credible? Well, a professor at Harvard Law expects students to be prepared when they walk in on day one. They don't want students turning up unprepared. It is a Ivy League institution and it expects students to already have developed these student skills to come prepared. So it's credible that the professor would put Elle Woods on the spot for not having been prepared because that's the expectations of Harvard Law School. What was logical was the setup in the classroom, all the students coming in, people taking their seats, and the professor pointing out that the front row was the hot seat. That is logical. What was not logical was Elle Woods sitting in the front row with no computer and with her fluffy pen and her heart notebook. That was not logical. What was emotional was that she was kicked out. And why was this emotional? Well, it's emotional because we are rooting for Elle Woods. She's been dumped by her boyfriend. She's managed to take the LSAT and score 179, which is really high, to get accepted into Harvard University Law School. And now she's in her first class and we want her to succeed. So it's emotional on her first day that she gets kicked out of class. It is logical because Harvard expects you to be prepared, and she is at this moment pretty clueless about the expectations of what Harvard Law School is expecting of her. She won't be in upcoming scenes. She starts to get it pretty quickly, but that's why it is an emotional scene, is because we are rooting for the hero. That is the kind of explanation that I would want you to do in written form. I would want you to explain how does this scene evoke a certain kind of a reaction from the audience. And of course the whole thing is this effective? So I do think that this scene is effective in warning future law students that law school has higher expectations of you as a student and you do need to be aware that you must come prepared to class. So the last part I already said that, on writing interesting and engaging essay, I will talk about later on, probably next weekend, as the revised essay probably will not be due now until November 4th. I'm going to push off that deadline. So that was Friday's all call. It resulted in relaxed deadline for the discussion board. Everything is due, both your initial post and your responses, by Monday at 8, unless I've given you extension till later. The sentence and paraphrase, the study reading strategies on Swift, for the annotation and the difficulty paper, and now the updraft. A couple students are going to have to revamp what they're doing. Please get in touch with me if you still don't understand what I'm asking you to do. I am here to help you make it through English 1A successfully, and I am going to adjust now, giving you less options and less examples. Thank you. Bye-bye.